Well, sometimes you just have to take matters into your own hands, and what I've got here is a 1988 hot point dryer, and it needs fixing. It doesn't work. It's not worth much money. I believe that the belt is broken, so I've gone to the library and got myself a book. You don't need to spend any money on this. You can go to the public library. They have free books all you want. How to replace a belt drive. And I've done this kind of thing before in Richmond. A few years back, I took a dryer completely apart, had to put it in the basement, took it all the pieces down to the basement, put it back together. And the key to that, I think, is just to draw on your notebook pictures and document step by step where things came from, and then recreate it. I use some masking tape sometimes to identify things, but right here we're going to go in and take these little screws out of the front, take the top off, get down into this thing. We're going to fix it. Alright, I've taken the 4 little screws out, and what I'm going to do is put them over here in this little dish. If you have different size screws and different things coming out in different order, get several different dishes, or put them in envelopes. Get some paper envelopes. Step 1, put those screws into one, mark it number 1. The next thing you take apart, put those items in an envelope labeled number 2, and so forth. Once you get to the end, you just reverse the order, follow the instructions that you took on your notes, and you'll have no problems. Next. Okay, I've got the front screws taken out along here, and some units don't have screws. They have little latches that you take a putty knife and release. What that does is it allows to take the top off the dryer and look down inside. And the first thing we see is a whole lot of lint. Who would have figured? So let's clean it out and see what we can find. Okay, right quickly we can find the problem. This belt is broken. The belt has to be looped exactly right in the right places or it's not going to work. So take your time and document every step. Okay, we've got the top off. The next thing, we have to get the front off. Now some units will have a bottom panel that comes off. This one, it looks like the entire front has to come off, and you can look in there and see how it's connected, and here's some little bolt heads, screw heads. We're going to have to find the tool and remove that. Take your time, reverse engineer. Alright, in this step I found some screws in here that were holding this front together. I undid 2, one on either side, and look, the whole front begins to come right off. Okay, on this model there were 2 screws at the top and 2 at the bottom, and these 4 screws allowed me to pull the front off. Okay, it's just time to go for it. This is the belt that I just purchased at a local supply house. Look up appliance parts in the phone book, or better yet on the internet, of course, and you'll find that. I also find a little pulley that thing has to loop around. Each one is going to be a little different, so look online for the tension pulley for your particular model, see how it goes on there. But really all there is to it is to take off the old belt and put on the new one. So here we go. As I'm looking in the front of the machine, I'm seeing it's going to be hard to get to this thing, but the back of the machine has this black panel that should allow me to access the motor and the pulleys to get this belt on. So I'm going to take this black panel off and see what we can find out. Okay, this is quite an aha moment. See, I can get in there and get to the motor and the pulley and the belt, and I can properly get the tension. And while I'm at it, I can clean out all this bad old lint that's been in there for years of service. This is over 20 years old, so as far as I know, it's the first time anybody's ever been inside of it. Haha. Let's get the belt on. Okay, I'm going to try to get in here with my flip cam and my head and my hands and show you that's this tension bar.
this tension pulley here, there's one on all dryers. You get the belt looped around the drum and around this motor, but this tension pulley has to be set to do it the right tension. The tension pulley has to come down, in this case, get the tension pulley on this side. So now it's nice and tight. And now the drum turns and the pulley turns, keeps the tension, and all is looking well. Now, let's get our head out of here and see what it looks like on top. Okay, the belt is tight. It's not riding in the same position as the mark from where the old belt was. I'm going to turn it a few times. Try to push it. Make sure there are no twists in the belt. It's looking good. I'm going to start putting this thing back together. See what we got. Okay, we've tightened the back door here. And just as a point of reference, all of this has been done with a 5/16 nut driver. All the screws in my unit were either a Phillips head or a 5/16 size nut driver. Beautiful. So we'll get the back on. I've brushed everything clean. And we're going to get ready to go. Make careful of attention that you clean out the exhaust pipe. And when you put it back in, you're going to want to put a new exhaust hose on if you don't have a solid metal hose bent. So here we go to the front. Alright, the two at the bottom are in. Just putting the front on the machine. The two at the bottom held it there, and two at the top. The slots spring it together. And I need one more screw. If you've only taken out those screws that are necessary, you probably only have 4 screws holding the front. While I'm here putting in the last screw at the top, put the top back on, this will all be together now. I'll point out that the model number for this unit is right here. That's where I got the model number to take down to the appliance supply house. Also, previously this machine, the latch had broken. So what we did was just put some Velcro on the side to hold the doors closed. You know, it's no big deal. Close the door, take the Velcro. You can get a lot of mileage out of an appliance like this, and there's no sense in spending good money and filling up a landfill with an old machine that just needs a little attention. Save some money. Let's see if this thing works. Hey, now that's the sound I love to hear. That's the sound of the dryer running like it's supposed to. The drum is spinning, the dryer is working, everything is fixed. There is a new metal vent hose in place. This is obviously a real world laundry porch and not some studio made for TV deal. This is real people saving real money. It cost $9 and change for the belt. I had the hose in the basement and meant to replace it years ago and never did. So now I've got a tuned up, safer and properly running machine. Should run for a few more years. I don't know if the environment wins or loses because the new machine might be a little more efficient with electricity. But, you know, keeps it out of the landfill, so it's certainly no worse in my eyes. I think you should try to save some money and do things for yourself. Be a little frugal, get a little more mileage out of everything you buy. Times are tight, tighten up the belt, try things for yourself. The biggest requirement for a job like this is patience. If you take your time, look at what you're doing, you can't screw this up. It's a simple machine. Anybody can fix it. I'm sure you'll have luck with yours. You can't make it any worse. It's already broken. Good luck with it. Let me hear from you. Have a great week. Thanks for stopping in. Bye-bye.